right now. I think it shows them as they're live right now. So hopefully Instagram will kick it on at some point. I'll look into it more later, but we can, I can look into posting this link on there too. But the link's in the bio on Instagram right now. And so welcome to the show. We'll just start over here 12 and a half minutes into the show. Oh, Largo's Lair. Welcome, Largo. Guys, Largo's Lair is another show on YouTube that's great. Make sure and like and subscribe him. And welcome, Largo. We've got insightful imagery with us. We've got Deadman 1 with us, and the regular crew, obviously. I'm Kelly, founder of Odd Frog Entertainment. That's my best friend and business partner, Eddie Hermosillo, co-founder of Odd Frog Entertainment, and our other best friend and business associate, Mike Cantrell, who's a great voice actor. And then, Deadman, why don't you introduce yourself, and we'll go to insightful imagery, and we'll start asking about the car.
I'm Deadman 1. I'm the host of I'm the co-host of the Skeleton's Tomb every Wednesday here on Instagram. At Skeletons Collectibles is the YouTube channel.
What's up, Skelly?
Co-founder, Skelly. Co-founder of Toymerks, and currently the only founder still involved with Toymerks. However, I am in touch with the other co-founder all the time, and we do talk shop here and there. I sometimes build dioramas, and I sometimes take photos of action figures, and sometimes I get drunk talking to Kelly just because he's a great guy.
That happens.
I do the same with Deadman because he's a great guy. Awesome. And then today we've got with us a very special guest. As many of you know, we have the Bandito out on a U.S. tour right now of toy photographers and customizers and
collectors
that Deadman set up for us. So thank you, Deadman 1, for this amazing tour. It's getting lots of attention, and we really appreciate that. But right now with us,
that was the whole plan, wasn't it?
Yep,
absolutely.
Who currently has the car is Insightful Imagery. And Insightful Imagery, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
All right. Well, I'm Mike.
I like that.
Insightful_imagery. And I just build dios and 3D print and try to make cool sets, ultimately to just do toy photography. And right. So I kind of learned that if I wanted to take cool photos, I had to have some cool props, and I ended up having to learn how to make all those props. So it kind of the rabbit hole of toy photography.
I got an Insightful Imagery prop right here.
Yeah, you hold that a little closer. There you go.
I broke the handle. It comes with two. The other one had the handle on it still. But yeah, it's super cool. Mike makes some awesome shit. If you're not following Mike, you're messing up.
Thanks.
The photographs of the Bandito have been like mind-blowing, really. I didn't even know you could do that with a camera. Mike, let me ask you, why toys?
So I got, I used to do like Milky Ways, and I used to do like nature photos and stuff. And one rainy season here in California, I couldn't really get out, and I figured I'd try macro. And then since I had all the equipment and everything to do macro, I thought, well, this is fun, but there's got to be something else. And one day a toy photography shot came across my Instagram feed, and I thought, man, I could do this. This is just like kind of macro, but a little step back from macro. And I'm like, man, let me give it a try. And that was it. I discovered that I didn't have to leave my house. I could have cool toys sent to me. I never had to go anywhere. I didn't have to, I didn't have to waste gas driving 3 hours.
Hey, we're totally, getting there,
Totally fits my anti-social.
Now, our age group, I just turned 48 like last week, and I played with, He-Man is Star Wars, of course, was probably my first toy I had. And then He-Man, I remember just being astounded when I saw it. And what's up, Skelly? And just the colors, the character design and stuff. Are these toys you played with as a kid? Like some of the it's all newer stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. So, when I started getting into the toys, I didn't really know even where to begin. To be honest, I bought my first Mezco figure on eBay because I thought that's where you bought them. And I paid way too much. Yeah. And so I started realizing that you could get really figures for like whatever you wanted, and so I gravitated towards some of the classics that I grew up with as a kid: Spider-Man, Popeye, stuff like that. And then all my favorite 80s horror movies. Mezco, of course, puts
That's
those
what I was gonna
out.
say. Is that what drew you to Mezco? Because I see a lot of your a lot of pictures is like Mezco, or like, is that what you
Yeah,
gravitate towards? That's just like me. That's what brought me all back
yeah.
into 112, particularly was Mezco.
Yeah, it was. Because I didn't even know what figures to buy in the beginning. I
Hmm.
just, or who made what, or any of the NECA, Mezco, any of that. I didn't know any of that stuff. And so I started with NECA, and I did a lot of Jason NECA and stuff like that
Hmm.
because I love the textures. But somebody hit me to Mezco one day, and I'm like, yeah, those look pretty cool. And and then, here I am
It's
with
a whole
Mezcos, and
nother
Then the
level. Like,
addiction
yeah,
starts. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
That's
Eddie,
Which-
quite the workshop you have behind you there.
Eddie can speak more to this than I can, but when we were designing the car, the Mezco was what we had in mind because the quality was there, the detail was there, and you can throw anything in there, but if you have a cheap looking prop, you can't really put a Mezco in there. So that's
Yeah.
you can talk about that, Eddie.
I mean, that was the point, or I guess more
Mhm.
like the price point and the quality of the car, that we wanted it to be on par with a Mezco figure. Mezco figures at cheapest, I guess nowadays you'll find like some of the older figures, or even some of new ones at cheapest, maybe like 65, $70. But like average, like when they come out by Mezco, they're usually around $110, $115. So like you want to be on par with something like that, which is the design purposes, the idea, the details, the customizability, the kits, the accessories, was all intended to be, yeah, like on a shelf with the Mezco. Like that's why we designed it the way it is. And I don't know, we just wanted to elevate that level and bring the community something that was on par with Mezco figures that wasn't around, which was vehicles, which you know evolved into us kind of coining the term action vehicles, and that's what we're rolling with. We're trying to start this whole action vehicle wave where it's cars for action figures, that literally are essentially action vehicles, are essentially, like the figures itself, but like more, because they would come with kits and accessories. And, this one being our first product, having it sent out to multiple people. And, we just wanted to hear people's opinions. And that's why we're showcasing the live now.
Oh shit. I just stole your thunder, Eddie. So
You
speaking
did.
of which, yes, the Bandito is out on the road right now, and insightful imagery. We just want to know your honest opinion. You have it there with you, yeah?
Yes, yeah, I have it right here.
Can you hold that up a little bit?
Yeah.
Ooh, there she is.
Who's that? Bartholomew Vex on there now?
Yeah, I was trying to put Vex in there. He's got a huge head, so
He does. He has ram horns.
yeah.
So, what are your first impressions when you first pulled it out of the box?
When I first pulled it out of the box, I thought, man, this thing is bigger than I anticipated. I didn't really, when you say 1/12 vehicle, you think, okay, 1/12 vehicle, but I don't really think, at least I didn't kind of really understand how big that was going to be to accommodate, 1/12 figures. And so I was like, man, this thing is big and it looks really nice. It's got all the curves of the car. It's got, all it's the organic shapes, and the modeling is just really, really nice and smooth and beautiful. And it's heavy. It's definitely got a weight to it for a printed vehicle at this point. It's definitely got some weight to it and a lot of detail.
And for the record, Odd Frog did not pay you any money to say that, right?
That's right.
No, it did not.
That's right.
No.
And when you say how big it is, I just want to like throw out there that it's modeled, and it's modeled after the American classic muscle car. It's modeled similar to like a Chevelle. So if car guys, a Chevelle is a smaller vehicle essentially compared to modern day cars or anything like that. So when you even say it's big for its size, yeah, 112 scale is still going to be big, but a Chevelle is a smaller car. It is a coupe, you know what I'm saying? So it's still a smaller side. And from what we have planned, we have like a van planned, and you know, more like subway cars and stuff like that. But it's like it's essentially smaller than your average vehicle would be.
Yeah, it's looks great, man. It's
thanks,
fantastic. Man. Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's big in the sense that I don't have a prop that's that big that I typically photograph with, and so I have to change a little bit the way that I shoot in order to be able to show how awesome it is. I'm usually shooting propane tanks and trash cans. So.
Yeah, let's put some of his shots on and talk about them, because we see you. I mean, you've been taking some killer shots, and I like the way you've been on each shot. You've been kind of emphasizing like the headlights and the dashboard and certain characters. You know, let's talk about that. Let's get into that a bit.
Right.
I'll tell you what, you guys talk. I'll see if I can't pull that up.
For sure.
Okay.
So I see like my personal favorites. I like the one so far of the Vaporini brothers, and then which one was the other one? And of course, just the one. I guess it's the similar shot, the Vaporini brothers, and then when you have Burner just cruising down the street. I mean,
oh yeah,
shots,
yeah. The sort of finger to the air.
finger to the world.
Yep.
Let's see.
This is so much easier with a separate screen.
I can do it then. Watch.
You have two screens?
I have multiple screens.
Okay. Yeah, it's easier to do it that way.
Is it sharing now?
There we go.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, this one was a newer one you did, man. These baby, like, yeah, I don't know. Just talk about the inspiration. Talk about it. When we first saw it, we were like, man, that's a lot of dust.
Yeah, I didn't want to post a picture until I knew I got the dust cleaned off of the car. I'm like, well, if it doesn't clean off, man. But you know, yeah, it would just, you know, so the one is Vaporoni, and of course the other one is Vapor Burner, but I just put the green head and hands.
The head on it, yeah, for sure. That's why I have the Vaporini brothers, yeah.
Guys, I got the Instagram to go live.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Finally. So if you're on Instagram, welcome to the show.
We're here with Insightful Imagery, who has, again, in hand, and has been taking some killer shots. I
want to know about this
right now.
So you, first of all, I want to say Insightful is the right name for your channel, because your little reels and stuff and just talking about your process. I'm not a photographer, I'm a designer and an illustrator, but I loved hearing about the process. It's a lot like design. Essentially, you know, there's color theory, there's the elements and principles of design that I see in the composition.
Shadowing.
So
lighting.
can you tell a little bit about your process? It almost looks like you have a matte painting behind it, which I guess in a sense you have a modern type of matte painting.
Yeah, that's just a television screen back there. And images I buy actually from Adobe stock. And so with a prop this size, I wanted to go with something, you know, a little bit more realistic than just my foam diode pieces. You know, I thought that it would pair up nicely. And so, yeah, it's just a television screen back there and a foam bit of floor with some cork on it that I turned into a road and various, you know, bits of dust and dirt to help blend it all together with
it's
a little
badass.
fog.
It's badass.
So badass. How do you make the colors on the screen work with the colors in the foreground?
That's the tough part sometimes.
Yeah.
Usually you can use what's called a circular polarizer filter on a standard lens, but this particular lens that I used here doesn't have that option because it's so tiny. And so what I have to do is I have to find a shutter speed first. I can either adjust the image in Photoshop before I put it up on the screen, and then I find a shutter speed that I think is going to give me the overall tone or value that I want, and then I adjust my lighting to match what's on the screen.
Wow.
So you got to kind of go backwards if you don't have a CPL filter, but yeah.
Yeah,
try
because
to
your
match the
colors
black.
are seamless. I
They're
mean,
spot on. Yeah,
really
And
every
nice.
single shot.
And
And that-
the focus is incredible as well, Mike.
Yeah.
What did you
This is
shoot that at, Mike? What was your f-stop on that photo?
Man, that's the Pro Blends, and you know the f-stops on the Pro Blends are ridiculous. They range from 13 to 40, and I think I was probably at 20. I don't have it out, and I think it was like 28. One stop down from the maximum. You know,
Yeah,
the-
I
the,
know when I shoot macro, I shoot with a really high f-stop too. Because if you don't, like, it's
Yeah.
just gonna have like a speck of it that's in focus, and the rest of it's gonna be
Yeah.
all blurry. So
yeah,
those
yeah.
it look like the lights are on. Yeah, that's not just a reflection.
The lights are on. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
They are on in those shots.
What'd you think about the
you
lights
know.
on the Bandito?
I'll say this. So I had somebody message me and ask me in particular about the dashboard lights, and I told them that for shooting at for 6 seconds at f/28 on ISO 200, those lights came across nice and bright. I was really surprised that they
Awesome.
were as bright as they were, because f/28 is pretty stopped down. So for them to come across really bright was really nice. You know, I
Talk
didn't
about
have
this
to do,
shot a little bit here.
okay.
Love the colors
Hello.
in this.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. So that shot, what I did is I had one single light all the way toward the hood of the car, and I had it adjusted to red, and then I had it, and then I took a shot, and then I had it in the next shot adjusted to blue so that I could mimic police sirens. And then I have it a softbox overhead, a 36-inch softbox overhead with the probe lens on and the dash lights on. And I wanted to show inside the car, and I wanted to show the lights and how that little bit of
Mike, are you talking about the
detail-
light on the probe lens? Because I know your probe lens has a light
No.
built into it. Okay.
Yeah, no, the lights on the dashboard in the car. I really wanted to show how that little bit of functionality really opens up a lot of, you know, depth to a toy photography, you know, to a toy photograph. And so I really wanted to show that the light over vapor, that's a softbox. That's just a 36-inch softbox. And there's a reflector underneath Vapor's feet. I have a bounce card under there, bouncing light back up under his face, since the main light is
Yeah.
top down.
Yeah.
To prevent his face from being in shadow, there's a bounce card under his feet. So, and
Okay.
I intentionally hid the barrel of the gun because I didn't like the way the holes looked on it. So I cut that off intentionally. So yeah.
I mean, it looks done. Yeah, it looks.
You know, Mike, there's only one thing you could have done better with this photo, and that's show his feet.
Yeah. No,
That's an inside joke. Sorry, guys. It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke.
yeah. No doubt.
Largo's
Right.
Lair. Great images. The Bandito definitely photographs well and gives realism to 112 scenes.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Largo's Lair. Yeah, you know, Mike, I
Yeah.
so appreciated the time you took with the shots. Mikey, can you bring up that other shot with the money inside? That
It's
shows the
me, but
dash
yeah.
Eddie's
so
got it
well.
right now. Eddie's
And
got
I'm
it.
really
Yeah.
proud of the dash, the detail that was put into it because of toy photography. I mean, that exists for that. And there's Easter eggs in there, Eddie, if you want to share about that.
Okay, yeah, this one. So
And then
I
we'll
think
have
this
Mike
is one of
talk
my-
about
this
this
is one of
shot a
my
little bit.
favorites.
This is
This
one
is
of
one-
my favorites.
yeah,
too.
I want Mike to talk about the details and some what he saw in it. But we do have
mean,
some
look at that
Easter
dash.
eggs hidden on there.
Real quick before we go into anywhere, I just want to point out how this actually gives you the feeling that he's really just driving down the street right now.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Like, I mean, I know that that's just a television set behind him, and I know that, you know, the props are all, you know, made by Mike except for the car
Yeah.
and probably the gun, but it really gives you a sense that he's literally just driving that car.
I mean, the focus is so well done. Yeah. And I mean, you know, for me, you know, looking at other products on the market, and then I look at our dash, I'm like, you know, that can pass for pretty realistic dash with an up close camera that's meant to take shots like that. So I really appreciate these shots of the dash, Mike. Thank you.
No, sure. Yeah. They're fun to take. You know, guys like shiny, bright things that light up.
Absolutely. Headlights.
He's not lying. He is not lying. This is literally, out of the thousands of action figures and all the hundreds of thousands of accessories I have, this is my favorite accessory.
That's awesome.
And it lights up.
And yeah, and it lights up.
So I
No
said some
doubt.
other details on that dash, like we went ahead and hit our little logo on that little screen. I know a Chevelle from the 60s, you know, the late 60s wouldn't have a kind of screen like that, but that's the customizable, you know, we had to make it different. The speed dials actually have a little OFE for Odd Frog Entertainment, and it has some of the designer initials on there. So we put various things on there. We have the dials, we have the CD player. I mean, I don't know. Some of the details
It could
will
be an
be
8-track.
yeah.
Exactly.
With your Eagles 8-track in there.
It could be an 8-track. I mean,
That would be yeah.
Oh, and the other thing I want to mention about the lights is on the switch in the car, there's extra ports so that you can wire up lights to it and potentially have, you know, ground effects, especially with the low rider. Eddie had lit up the wheel wells at one point. And
So
so,
the switch,
you know,
not just the on and off switch, but for customize, the switch itself has other ports on the inside where you can literally solder other
That's
lights
smart.
and other
That's smart.
so Mike, can you tell us, you know, like you did on the last one, this is probably our favorite shot of the group here. And tell us a little bit about your process with this one. How's that lens working with this kind of dynamic?
So this is the first shot I took of the car, and this is the first shot I took with that lens in particular.
Oh, and real quick, can you say what lens you're using? I don't know if we've mentioned that yet.
Yeah, this is the probe lens, the 24 millimeter probe lens. That I forget the name of the brand name is Astori or something. I don't know how you say it, but Astori. But it's a 24 millimeter 2-to-1 macro probe lens that allows you to get really into nice tight areas and open them up like this, you know, shot here. Allows you to get in there where you couldn't with the traditional macro lens that was, you know, a lot larger bit of glass in the front. So, you know, I had this shot in mind when I got the car out of the box. I got to thinking right away, Bandito, bandit, bank robbery, you know, vapor burner.
exactly.
Let me get some money bags out and let me, you know, let me just get this up and create this shot, man. And that's really what I did. I wanted to get in there and show the detail and the lights and all the cool color play, you know.
Yeah, I love the
going
color
on.
play in the background and
Yeah.
foreground, but I love, I really love this shot.
Yeah. And you know, the column, the shifter on the column there and stuff, all those pieces reflect nicely with the light to give it that metallic look and give it that little extra bit of realism and eye catch for your eye to land on. And so, you know, all those things are important in taking a photograph. They're not just painted black, you know,
that's so great to hear, because Eddie and I, you know, he's more of a photographer than I am, but you're wanting the detail, you're wanting all that, but you don't really know from a designer perspective how well that's going to turn out until you start seeing this. I mean, this was really Eddie and I's dream, is to see what people were going to do with the car. And, you know, keep in mind, we're not really having anybody customize the car right now because it's one of a few prototypes. So, you know, we really want people to tell their own story with it. And I mean, I just think you've done an amazing job of that right here, Mike. Really amazing.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, real quick, if you're watching this on Instagram, we're on StreamYard. We should get comments on the live from Instagram on here. So feel free to comment. Feel free to, we don't?
no.
Oh, okay. I thought we might.
No.
So,
If people are watching this on Instagram right now and they want to participate in the chat, they need to hop over here to the YouTube.
Okay. Well,
it
Odd
should
Frog
come
Entertainment on YouTube. If your chats aren't coming through, Odd Frog Entertainment on YouTube. Like and subscribe, guys. We're closing in on 400 subscribers, and then we've got some other information.
Pre-order.
Pre-order the Bandito. It's free to pre-order right now. We're not taking anybody's money until we reach 1,500 units. But we'll talk about that a little more later in the show. We've got some big information to share. Deadman's going to kind of mediate that. So hang on. We've got some big information about the Bandito. So
these were some, again, great
Shoot
shots.
me, what's up?
What's up, Shoot? Shoot is also on the tour, so we'll be seeing his shots of the Bandito pretty soon. It's kind of funny because we have a group chat going, and when Mike's shots came through, everybody is like, that's it. We're done. No need to send it. But like Eddie said, you know, we want to see all those styles and what everybody.
But also
has
just to
bring
get
the
it
game.
in different people's hands to be able
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really.
Well, I got like
Well,
I was saying, you know,
all those. Go ahead. You finish.
like I was saying, everybody has their own perspective, different opinions, different accessories, different diorama pieces. So it's gonna look different, and everybody's, you know, everybody has a different imagination, different vision. And I don't know, like, yeah, that's just what I want to throw out there.
And then you can
I-
customize it.
And then you can
personally,
customize it.
I personally picked all the different people in there because I mean a lot of them were friends of mine, but I picked them all because they all have different styles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and Mike's style. I mean, his photos are great, but there's other people that are going to take photos that are just as great, but they'll be a completely different style.
Yeah. I'm excited for everybody. I really like Skydro's stuff. Really great mood and kind of atmosphere in his stuff as well. And shoot, I can't wait to see his. I mean, Thor did an amazing job. I mean, Thor's got a really strong sense of design in his compositions. So it's great to see everybody's different shots. I got another question for Mike. You have so much technical knowledge about this. I'm just wondering, how did you learn about photography? What got you, you know, where did you get your start and how did you get so knowledgeable on it?
You know, my start was being a truck driver with a disposable camera.
What's up,
Back in the days. Back in the
Plannable.
days of disposable cameras,
Yeah.
that's when I first started doing photography. But then I started doing, you know, quinceañeras and stuff like that, and food photography, and I did some, you know, some portrait stuff. But just over the years, it's something that I stuck with, and with the, you know, advent of YouTube and before that it was Barnes and Noble, you know, buying books, and then it was YouTube, you know, watching videos, and just over the years you just build a knowledge of you know, some basic fundamentals that don't really change much you know, from one niche to the next. Maybe the processes might change you know,
The
but
principles don't change.
yeah, and so you kind of carry those over into a niche that you like, and so just, you know, keeping at it over the years, probably for 25 years or so. Since I've been married to my wife, I got into photography. So it's been about 25 years, man.
Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
you know, back with the
That's
first
awesome.
digital camera, the Sony Mavica, I think they were like 3 megapixels or something.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I-
What
I
camera were you
remember
running
those,
with
yeah.
that probe lens?
So that I have an EOS RP 6, and then I have another EOS R body, but they're mirrorless Canons that I use.
Canons.
Yeah.
I'm getting background noise. Does someone have a separate screen going?
I'm drinking some water. My bad.
Yeah, that
Well,
was me.
I guess it's better than drinking whiskey.
Yeah, it's debatable. Or you could be
Well,
like
yeah,
Winston Churchill
the
and
trunk
drink
space. How do you like the trunk
scotch
space
in your
there?
water.
It's Evan. It's
Oh,
Evan.
that was question for you. Question for you, Mike. How do you feel about the trunk
details,
space?
the trunk, the space.
The trunk space is huge. Is that for me, Mike, or the other Mike?
No, you,
No.
Mike.
You.
Oh,
We
the
got a
trunk
Mikey and a Mike.
Hey, everybody wants to be like Mike.
That's right. Yeah, that's kind of why I did this, because the trunk space on that car, man, I mean, they don't make it like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like a Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's really, there's a lot of I mean, you could fit a couple figures back there, man. And
Who's
so
got a Jimmy
I figured-
Hoffa 112 figure?
Exactly.
I have one somewhere.
No doubt.
He's wrapped in a sheet, but I got one somewhere.
Have a cement block. He's inside this.
And
Yes.
the license plate detail is just a thing Eddie and I thought of right before it went onto the tour. And, you know, we want to do those for part of the kits that we offer. You know, maybe one can say lowrider and stuff like that, but we're not set in stone that it has to say 112, you know, abbreviated Bandito. We could do lots of stuff, you know.
Maybe
So, yeah, like-
customizable.
Yeah,
later
Yeah.
some of
down
these
the road.
details
Special order.
have definitely evolved from the original prototype we received. Like the rims themselves were supposed to be initially all chrome, but then we went with like a black and then added some chrome details to them. like these lines themselves could possibly also be hit with chrome. I don't know. It's just things that we're still floating around.
You can make it really classic.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to offer the stock hood. So there's lots you can do with it. And, you know, once we get to tooling, once we get to the 1,500 units, guys, you know, that's when the kits become available because we own the tooling and we can make parts. And yeah. And we should probably get into talking about that at a little bit at some point too. Is there any more pictures of mics we want to show, talk about?
Wait, go back, Eddie. Yeah,
that's great. This is great.
Yes, like see, like this originally the whole bumper was gonna be chrome, and then I just did the grill chrome with the bumper black. You know, there's a lot of contrast. There's a lot of things that are still in I guess kind of in the air, but.
And guys, this is all Eddie's customization of the car. You're going to be able to do whatever you want to it. You know, that's the point.
Imagine some of these shots with the apocalyptic road warrior style.
Or, you know, just a different color car. Yeah. Like I have a couple that I'm working on. I got a red one, a green one. I have another black one. You know, they're all on various different levels, but you know, we're trying to get booths for like Designer Con and, you know, eventually Comic-Con. So having multiple Banditos showcasing different colors, different styles is the whole purpose. So that's it. We've been working on some here myself, but yeah. So as far as I guess we want, that's the perfect segue to talk about what's been going on with it, I think.
Yeah. So, guys, Eddie and I have been doing a lot behind the scenes. We've hinted at it. We've talked about it on past shows.
Thank you for sharing that, Mike.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. And we're going to be asking questions as we want to get into the production of the car a little bit. So we still want to ask you questions and stuff. And as we talk about the production model and getting to production. So I'm going to let Deadman, who has some questions for us about all this kind of upcoming news, go ahead and moderate this and ask us some questions. And,
well, let's start off with the biggest news of all of it. Let's talk a little bit about the your relationship with Gentle Giant. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so we are contracted with Gentle Giant Studios for them to manufacture the car once we reach the 1,500 units. So it's, you know, everything's still our company, totally separate companies. They are not in any way, you know, associated with us in like a partnership or anything. We've simply contracted with them for them to do the manufacturing of the car. We love this because they loved the car, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So if anyone is wondering how this came about, you know, Gentle Giant is a big player in the toy community. They've been in the game for years. They're pioneering and they've pioneered the 3D printing industry. They have technology that's, you know, that would blow your mind. But on a whim one night, I emailed them and I got a hold of Polly Pryor, you know, the director of creative there. And, you know, we hooked it up. We hooked up a meeting where we met Carl, Mark, Adam, the whole team was there. And we literally pitched them the car. We had two working prototypes and they loved it. And, you know, they wanted to see what they can do for us and what we wanted from them. And, you know, all we need is that credibility, that notoriety, that manufacturing quality that is going to put the customizer, the toy collector at ease. Like we have Gentle Giant on board once we hit our minimum order quantity to help us produce and manufacture the Bandito. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, check them out, guys. They really do quality stuff. They have a beautiful website. And we were just, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The one thing that we never wanted to sacrifice was the premium of our brand and what we're putting out. And, you know, if you look at what they do, we're never going to have to make compromises. We already have our price from them for manufacturing. So, you know, we went ahead and went forward with that contract. So that leads us into other questions, but I'll let Deadman continue. And take your time.
Let's start with like some of the. I know Eddie went over some of this already, but I personally know. I mean, I've been working pretty closely with Kelly on this since the tour was came to idea, but I know a lot of this. Eddie already went over some of it, but let's talk about some of the differences between the prototype and the production model. Like I know there's a lot of older pictures out there that says Bandito across the grill and it has a little logo on the side. I know you removed that. So let's talk about some other differences like that.
Eddie?
So yeah, when we first started showing the Bandito, I guess a lot of people didn't quite like the logo. They kind of felt it was kind of too pronounced, and it was right there on the grill. It did say Bandito. We had a little like circular saw with a skull on it, signifying the chop shop. If everybody knows what a chop shop is in mechanic terms, But yeah, we had another little red like design on the back that the engineer had put on there, but upon listening to the community, some of those details were just kind of, I guess, loud and pronounced. So we went ahead and smoothed out the grill. We took off the logo on the side. That would probably just be like on the car, or actually it's gonna be on the steering wheel. That's where we decided it would go. Like the little circular saw logo might go on the steering wheel, but there's just some details that we wanted to change. That I felt myself were kind of small. Like door handles were like kind of small in 1/12 scale still. Like when you pull the door open, like just some things like that, or like the gear shifter. Some people recommended it maybe like to be a skull, but those are just things that change. Like the rims were initially all supposed to be chrome, but again, as far as aesthetics, those are just like paint decos that we can kind of finalize towards when we get that minimum order.
Raven's Eye, hello, buddy. Hello.
What's up, Raven's Eye? Yeah, and then just one kind of critical difference right now is we don't have the little quarter windows on it, and it will come with windows on the sides, little panel windows on the sides. They don't turn, but they are in there.
I just want to I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it yet again, is that Odd Frog always listens to the people. Like, that doesn't mean that everything that someone suggests is going to be changed, but you really do take into consideration everybody's ideas that are in the community. And I think it's awesome. Like, of course you want to put your logo everywhere, but they're like, kind of dial it back a little bit, make it a little bit more inconspicuous. Totally makes sense. So I just wanted to say that if anyone has any more suggestions, throw them out there. It might be a good one.
Absolutely. I mean, Eddie and I have both worked in the toy industry. I worked for Mattel for a couple of years. Eddie's worked for Spin Master. We freelanced and stuff like that. And, this is a whole different ballgame when you go out on your own. I've been in business for myself for many years before I went back to school and became a designer and worked for toys and all that. So I have a little bit of an understanding of small business. But mixing that with the toy industry is a whole new ball game. And we just wanted to build the toys that we liked, the kind of toys we liked as we were growing up. And, we wanted to do action figures, but it was so saturated with all the brand names. We just didn't feel, we were looking for an in. And nobody was doing vehicles at the time. So kind of that's why we took that direction. Vehicles. But, we're learning from the community about the community. I'm not a toy photographer. I want to look at other ways our business can service the photography side of toy photography as well. So we're always kind of brainstorming, and we're always looking on Instagram and YouTube and watching the shows.
I mean, I think that's what everybody does nowadays for inspiration. That's, you go to social media for inspiration, and it is what it is. And like Kelly was saying, so like some of these details, like, a lot of it, people do like the chrome and, want this to be chrome and that to be chrome. But I think it would be easier to be able to paint something chrome than try to remove chrome. Like, hence some of those subtle changes, like the bumper, instead of all being chrome, if it was in the matte black, you would get a chrome pen and kind of, just hit it with a chrome spray paint. It would be a lot easier than trying to remove something chrome. Exactly. And essentially would probably make it even more expensive having something chrome plated, you know what I'm saying? Or even like, but that's just details that we, but
hey, Mike,
customizability.
After shooting it, is there anything that you would suggest that might be added or taken away or improved upon?
Good question.
I don't know. I mean, I really like it. Dude, I didn't turn the wheels because I didn't want to. I didn't turn anything on
they do turn. They're a little rough. Like, it's a prototype. They will turn. They turn. They definitely turn. They're tight on there, and You know, they do require, again, it's all 3D printed and it's
Just
all
don't let
sanded
Kelly
and
hold it.
painted.
I'm
Some
not
of the
allowed to hold it.
tolerances may not be exact. So they do turn.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do any of
Force
that
it,
because
yeah.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
be that guy. But maybe a
Yeah.
dome light inside
Kelly
the car.
handling it has already set
Yeah.
this car back, what, like 7 months?
Yeah, it was not good. But we learned how to build our own prototypes really good. You
So
know,
so you're
that's what
saying
I'm telling myself.
possibly a
dome
dome light?
A little
Yeah,
interior
so
dome light.
in one of my shots, I made an interior dome light in there. I made it light up yellow. So I something like that would be kind of cool because these cars
Yeah, for sure.
usually have or a floor light where the wheel well was. I don't know if they had floor lights on the wheel well or where the pedal the pedals
On the
are.
bottom, under the dash.
Yeah, I didn't know if they had that back in the day. I don't remember, but
Even like you're saying, for reflection and stuff would be good.
Yeah.
yeah, for that depth, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yep.
So look, if you were to look at the door handles, like the interior door handles, like just some subtle details that I want to change, like where you grabbed it, like essentially where you would grab the door from the inside and pull it. Like in my opinion, that's a little bit small. Like that could be bigger. Like it could be it's just small details that I think would definitely make it a little better. And it's a detail that's the more details, the better. It's all included in the tooling process, and also as long as our model has it. It's good to go.
Yeah, a lot of these details are free. Go ahead.
Where did they fill up the car? Was this behind the license plate? Is that where that was?
Oh, yeah.
That's why the gas tank is in the back center. So you would essentially pull the plate down, and that's where you would have your gas tank. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
exactly. That's why there's no gas anywhere. You can't. Yeah, there's no gas door. I guess you would say. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
yes,
where you see
sir.
millennials go.
Where do you put the gas? You would pull the
Sorry,
gas.
millennials.
Then they get inside and realize it's a stick too. So
oh, it's an electric vehicle. Oops, I filled it up with gas.
No doubt.
Nobody older than their mid-30s or younger than their mid-30s knows how to drive a stick these days. That's for sure. I worked at a construction company where all the old guys were driving the dump truck because it was a stick. None of the younger kids were driving it. That's usually who drives it.
I'm CDL. I can drive a 14 speed. Of course, after I got my CDL to be able to drive a stick shift, all the trucks in my fleet, they're all automatic. So
the other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, and I can let you preface this, Dead Man, but is like, somebody mentioned that we've been on pre-order for a long time now, and that's very true. And I wanted to talk about distribution a little bit. So I just stole your thunder for the question there, but
I'm here for the ride.
Distribution and release date. So one of the things we haven't had is a release date. We did have a manufacturer, a really great manufacturer. We still have that manufacturer for other things that we want to do, but we certainly want to pursue this relationship with a known toy manufacturer and pop culture manufacturer. But one of the things that it allows us to do to have this contract with Gentle Giant producing the car is it makes it a much stronger presentation when we approach distribution. Eddie and I have both spoke with the Big Bad Toy Store before and other small distributors, but we've really kind of just been waiting, see how much we can learn about this process of sales on our own and building that process. We've got over 300 orders on our own right now, just through our website and the pre-order process that we built. Now that we have this contract with Gentle Giant to build our cars, once we reach the 1,500 units, it's like I said, it's a much stronger presentation to go to these distributors, and we have better numbers, so we can offer a little bit of meat on the bone when we go to them and develop a real professional long-term relationship with some of these distributors. So we have packages all put together for these distributors. And we're just going to be getting updated product shots so that we have the newest, nicest looking stuff to send to them. And then, we're going to be reaching out to the Big Bad Toy Store. Once we get on all that stuff, I think we can get on Amazon again. I want to make sure I talk to the right people in the right order in case there's any kind of exclusivity wanted by anybody. And, but really kind of, we're open to all distribution at this point. And so, yeah, that's coming next. And I really think that once people see us up on some of these trusted distributors, I don't know why I can't talk today, that's going to help our numbers a lot. And it should create the momentum we need to get to our summer of 2025 release date. So, guys, that's all going to depend on us meeting our 1,500 pre-orders in the next several months. So that's why we're going to be seeking distribution. That's why we really fought hard for this contract with Gentle Giant Studios. Again, manufacturing the car once we reach our 1,500 unit pre-order MOQ. And so everything's fallen into place here, guys. We have a 2-year development on the car. That means it's not going to fall apart when you get it, unless I'm there holding it and drop it. But, you know, you really need this kind of development process. Really make sure that you have a good product. I mean, Mattel takes 2 years on toy turnarounds, and that's because things have to be tested. All sorts of stuff goes into this, and you want those details to come through. And we took the time to listen to the community and add those details into the car. So that's where we're at right now. We're looking towards the summer of 2025 release date. I'd really like that to be May, around my birthday, but we need to get those pre-orders in. Guys, if you're on the fence, it's free to pre-order right now. What'll happen is once we get our 1,500, we will send out an email and an invoice to everybody asking to collect on those funds and that we are going to production. Once we go to production, it's about 155 days to produce that many units, and we ship it. So that's it. We've got summer of 2025 release date for the Bandito. We've got contract for manufacturing the Bandito once we reach our 1,500 units. And
it's
right
on
now,
tour. It's getting photographed. It's, you know.
Yep. It's on. Yeah. You stole the words right out of my mouth, Eddie. Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, so that's our pitch for the Bandito, and that's our news. And so
I got more.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Deadman. Let's do it.
Well, I actually, this isn't really a question as much as I just wanted to address something that I've heard in the community from a few people. I wasn't gonna actually touch on this at all, and it didn't even come to my mind till Eddie was talking earlier about Mezco figures. And now what I'm hearing is, well, if I can get the Bratz car for $35, which you can't anymore, by the way, just so you know, you can't get that thing for $35. Market value is way higher now. Why should I spend $185 on the Bandito? And here's the thing you got to think about first and foremost. The first thing that's happening, you're putting $100 figures into that car.
Exactly.
Well, that was our.
And that's that's the first thing that I'm thinking. Like when I hear this, like, oh, it's expensive, and then I'm thinking, like, how many people went out there and bought the Vamp from Hasbro? That thing was $100 and doesn't have single light, and it's not even half the size of this car.
Yeah,
that's okay. So why spend the money, right? So when we first started developing this, was almost immediately after the failed HasLab engine vengeance.
No, we were developing it before that.
That's what I'm saying. Like we had been developing before that, but you know, our price point was like established when we realized that they were doing that, and we had set it at 185, and theirs was like 3 something. But if our 185 price point, I'm gonna go ahead and say it kind of set the market price for it, because if you now look at other companies who have now started, who were able to move on the 1/12 scale vehicle projects faster than we are, because they have more, you know, a larger audience, they've been in the game longer, their price points are literally spitting images. You know, one company went ahead and priced their vehicle at $184.99. Like how is that a coincidence that ours is $185 and theirs is $184.99? And it's like, there's another company who did another car, you know, theirs is over 200 now too. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think it's like 250 plus now.
Yeah, it's 250, hasn't gone to production yet.
Let me highlight Eddie's point too. When we made the car, the price point for the car, we set it at what we could realistically manufacture the car for and ship it to you. You know, at the 1,500 units, there's literally zero profit in it for Odd Frog, except for the buffer zone money we're going to need to make sure that, if there's any problems, we can send you another one, shipping, anything like that. But we designed the car, got our price point on tooling, and built our price point off of that. So really what you're getting is essentially the best car you can get for the money, because we're a small team. There's no profit in it for us aside from selling more units after 1,500 once we own the tooling, right? That'd be awesome. But we just priced it at a point to where we could get in the game and start building units and get our product to market. So yeah, it's a little more on the expensive side than the Bratz car, but the Bratz car was not designed for the same thing that we designed our car for.
Customizability
with the detail,
aspect,
the lights, and the customizability and the future modification kit acceptability and stuff like that. There's a lot of design process that went into ours.
Yeah, and the Bandito doesn't say Bratz on the back of it.
Not anymore. We had to take that off. We got
any characters in the trunk of the Bratz car either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where the batteries are. Speaking of which, our batteries are located conveniently under the engine, and the car battery itself is the on and off switch. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
As a design element there, Mike.
Yep. No, that's great. Yeah. And I definitely pushed that button quite a few times.
We have too. So if it's not working perfectly, we've pushed it 1,000 times ourselves.
It's working great. It's working great.
That's
right.
great.
You got anything else there, Dead Man?
I think we touched on everything.
Okay. And yeah, if you have any questions about the Bandito, about production, about our relationship with Gentle Giant, we want to be real clear on that. We've contracted with them to produce the car once we reach our MOQ. But yeah, please leave comments on YouTube or Instagram. We love answering questions. We love engaging with the community. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. We're trying to build our YouTube channel as well. We try to have interesting topics to talk about on here sometimes. Not always. Sometimes, it's a hit. Sometimes it's a miss. But we're learning as we go. And we love talking about toys. So, anybody else got anything after that?
Yeah, Mike, do you have anything to promote, or if anyone wants to reach out and contact you, where can they find you?
Actually, Mike, can you list off all the different things like your Patreon and stuff like that where people can find you and help support you as well?
Sure. So my Instagram is just insightful_imagery. Pretty easy to find me. Just look for the panda logo. Same on YouTube, insightful imagery, panda logo. And then Skelly, yeah, right. And then my Patreon is Insightful Imagery also. Everything is Insightful Imagery. Just look for the panda logo. And I'm on Facebook. I don't do a lot on Facebook, but mostly Instagram and
check out his stuff.
And Patreon.
And Patreon.
Yeah. So those are the two places to.
And he puts out STLs for people, 112 props and stuff. Really fun to watch his process. So yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
How about you, Dead Man? You want to promote anything?
Follow me at Deadman1 spelled with W, so it's DEADMANWON on Instagram. You can catch me there. You can catch me at Toymerks. You can catch me every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, actually, I think it's changing to 5:30. I'm not sure if that's correct.
Pacific time.
Pacific time. I have had 4 shots of whiskey this morning, guys. And that's only because of you guys. I don't usually drink this early in the day. Usually I don't start drinking. I usually don't start drinking till 2. You can catch me on Skeleton's Tomb on YouTube on Skeleton Collectibles YouTube channel on Wednesday night. I think 5:30 Pacific time, and that's about it.
Go follow Mike. Go follow the Chop Shop. Go follow Odd. Like
we're out for entertainment, guys.
Oh,
Kelly, I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Kelly's.
I think the music is drowning Kelly out.
That's amazing.
Now is when you start yelling, Kelly.
Wait, hold on. We got one more. We got one more comment. There we go. Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for
Kelly.
hanging out. Thanks for chopping it up.
Okay, guys.
Thanks to Insightful for sharing and taking the time to take these shots. We really appreciate it. Again,
Yeah,
go
thank
you
vote
guys both
pre-order,
for
like, share,
hanging out.
subscribe, and follow everybody here.
Thank you for tuning in to the Odd Frog Chop Shop podcast. This episode is brought to you by MLCvoice.com and OddFrogEntertainment.com. Theme music is Burlesque Heartache by RKVC. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Until next time, keep creating and keep playing.
Yes, sir.
Still live.
I know. Like I said, this is
Don't drop the F-bomb.
I didn't use it once, did